A new version of Titler Live is out and available now. Titler Live 4, in fact, and it is shipping with Wirecast. So periodically, as we like to do on this show, we have the expert on to tell us what's new in this amazing live graphics and tiling program. What features do you have access to as a Wirecast owner? If you just bought or if you upgraded to Titler Live 4. We're going to get into it. There's lots of cool, new, exciting things to talk about. And joining us will be Mr. Travis White from NewBlue Effects. So stick around. You're watching another episode of Wirecast Live. Thank you for joining us. Today is our 99th episode. Next week is the 100th live episode. And it is Thursday, September 27th, 2018. Glad to see you. We'll see you right after these opening credits. Welcome back to another episode of Wirecast Live. It is Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time in lovely California, and we are live each week with another episode of Wirecast Live. I'm your host, Andrew Haley, and I'm glad to see you guys. It's going to be a fun, exciting, and informative episode. We're going to talk about some of the cool new features and things you can do with the latest version of Titler Live. Now, Titler Live, of course, is a standalone program that it works beautifully by itself. So you can create, design, and output amazing animated graphics and put them out on your network over NDI. You can bring them in directly into Wirecast through a really nice interface and plugin integration that we do directly with them. So if you're running them on the same system or if you're running them on the same network, we've even had people run them remotely from different networks and be able to pass those signals through with some clever routing. So there's lots of different ways to use the program, and we're going to get into some of the simple ways you can take advantage of this amazing and powerful software. It's at your fingertips, literally, when you have Wirecast or the latest version of Wirecast. We'll talk about what's changed. We'll talk about some of the cool things you can do with looping and crawls and some other neat things that they've added. They've totally broken down the render engine and the way it works, so it takes up even less footprint on your machine. It's very efficient. It's really cool stuff. So we'll get into all that on today's episode. If you would like to get notified of upcoming Wirecast Live episodes, again, we're a weekly show. You can sign up at our email list at telestream.net/WirecastLive, and we will just send you information about the upcoming shows. In fact, next week is our 100th episode. We're very excited. We have some surprises planned for you. More news on that next week, and you should definitely tune in for that show. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We probably won't take ourselves too seriously during that show, but we encourage you to join in. If you're watching this on demand later, thanks for watching. You can catch all of these episodes archived at our YouTube channel, or if you want to see kind of the raw, uncut versions, you can go to the Telestream Facebook page at Telestream Wirecast. Please tweet at us with the hashtag Wirecast if you're curious, or where is Wirecast if you have a post to share, and we'd love to talk about it on the show. Okay, with that, I think we should just dive into our topic for today and bring on our guest who is joining us live in person from San Diego, California, head of product at NewBlue Effects Graphics, Travis White. Travis, are you there?
I am here. How you doing?
Hey, good to see you. Long time no see.
Yeah, like all of yesterday, I think.
Yeah, right. For those of you who don't know, Travis was actually up here at Telestream the other day, yesterday, in fact, and we had a really good on-site training and some cool stuff going on. There was a lot to talk about, and it was really fun to see you. And unfortunately, we couldn't quite make this work with you in person in the studio with us, but our wood paneling almost matches.
That is true. This is very true.
So, yeah, Travis had to kind of jet back down to San Diego and get in the studio and get ready for a demo today. And so, Travis, what do you have in store for us today? What are we going to talk about?
Well, you had shared that a lot of people are very interested in Titler Live and really getting that as part of their workflow, but they wanted to see kind of step-by-step, how do you get it in there and connected and really spend some time on that. So we're going to spend some time on exactly what comes with your Wirecast software, both Wirecast Studio and Wirecast Pro, and what those Titler Live packages are that you get for free inside there for animated graphics.
Cool. And while we do that, I want to pull up comments, and I believe you are pulling comments there. So if you guys have questions, this is a great time to ask them, because Travis, the expert, can literally answer them live on the air. If you have something you've wanted to do or curious on how to do with either Titler Live or Titler Live's integration with Wirecast, you can ask those questions on Facebook, on the live feed here, or you can ask them on YouTube, although you may only be pulling in the Facebook ones for display if you want to bring them on the screen. Right, Travis?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So, and just a quick shout out to some of our live viewers. Deb, welcome. Thanks for joining. She's a frequent viewer here. Meister Pie. Love to see you. Vicky, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So happy you're here. Let's welcome Jim. Thank you for joining us. Wilton, great name. Love that. Joanne, Perry Girls in the house. Welcome. And it looks like Greg Kunert as well, also a frequent viewer and joining us from Australia. So, guys, thanks for being here. Travis, why don't we turn it over to you? Let's talk about Titler Live Express, Titler Live Express 4, which is included for free with Wirecast 10 or later, and Wirecast Studio is the version you would have to have in order to have it at least Express. This is your sort of your free, very basic version, and really you can't get it anywhere else except unless you have Wirecast. Is that correct, Wirecast Studio?
That's correct. Yeah. No one else on the planet gets Titler Live Express except
right.
for Wirecast Studio guys.
Yeah, there you go. So we should, this is the exclusive version of Titler Live, just kind of to get people going, and let's see what's possible with this version. If you have Wirecast Studio 10 or later, then this is what you get. And kind of let's talk about very simply, what are some things they can do with this software just to kind of enhance their broadcast right off the bat?
Sure thing. So thanks everyone for coming to this episode. It's really great. Again, I'm Travis White, and first thing I want to do is share a little bit about what's new that's relevant for Titler Live Express as well as Titler Live Present. And we have this new engine called the NTX engine. So I wanted to share this with you a bit. So what's new in version 4? And like Andrew said, if you have Wirecast 10, you get version 4. And so in this Express version, there's an all-new NTX engine, and I'll describe what that means. But in short of it, it's faster renders, quicker response. When you change just a piece of text, just that new piece of text needs to animate in. The rest of your title stays there. So it's great to see animated updates while your title's still live, and that gets pretty sexy, actually. The next thing we want to look at is the edit preview window, editing. Before we had an attributes panel that had some fields in it. Now it's a visual experience, and I'll tell you what that means. Drag and drop connections. If you have an input, which Titler Live Express comes with Facebook comments, and that's one of the inputs, then you can drag and drop connections to your different designs that you're using to mix and match what's going to what field. It's really powerful. We'll show how that goes. There's an new inputs library. So we don't have just the design library anymore, but we have an inputs library for the higher SKUs like Titler Live Present. And then a crawl feature, which is really powerful. The second part right here is in Present. Present gets everything that we just went through, but it also has new Excel sheet spreadsheet support. So it did CSV spreadsheet before, and now has Excel spreadsheets, and we'll look at what that looks like.
I think that'll be really cool. Yeah, like having Excel spreadsheets to drive your graphics, just even from a show planning and agenda stuff, I think it will be so powerful for users.
Exactly. So I guess what we should do now is go on to looking at what Titler Live Express is all about.
Yep.
So what I have here is Wirecast, as all you users know out there. And we're going to go through the basic ideas of what it is to just put a new input in, or excuse me, a new title from Titler Live. And there's a couple ways to do it, but we'll go through the plugin method, which is the most common method. So I'm going to hit the plus button in the shop bin here. And you'll see that under overlays, where you find a number of other text and clock things, this is where Titler Live is found.
And I
So
want
you
to
can
be
find that there.
clear that that will not appear unless you have installed Titler Live on your system. So if you're curious about downloading and installing Titler Live, there's videos and the walkthroughs can help you. But basically, the long story short is the minute you get your email saying, thanks for purchasing Wirecast Studio or Wirecast Pro, here you can download it. Here's your serial number. In that same email will also be one saying you also get Titler Live. Here's your Titler Live download. Here's your Titler Live serial number. And once you download and install it, then Titler Live will appear on that menu for you. And that's true whether or not you own it or not. The demo version would also appear there, but unless you've installed it on your system, you won't see that.
That is very true. In fact, we just say to the show, people will laugh, but a lot of the support things we have is like, where do I get my download and where do I get my serial number? And so thanks, Andrew. It's like right in your receipt when you buy your Wirecast product.
Right. Yep.
So here we go. We just added one source and up popped Titler Live Express. And so Titler Live Express has a couple areas that it's laid out. At the top, it's the edit preview window. Down here in the lower right, we have the playlist. And then over on the left, we have designs and inputs. And in the input menu, I have many more things in here because I've been working with different versions here on my computer. But one thing you will have is Facebook comments. And if you just hover over something, you can see what that's going to look like. But let's go ahead and just do a standard graphic. So we'll go to the Designs library and go into a category like lower thirds would be a very common. Actually, let's do a crawl. Now I'll do a lower third. So we'll go into a lower third. That's a very common thing to use, obviously. If you hover over different designs, you can see what that's going to look like right here in the library. So if we maybe get something like, that's a good one. This one right here. So we can drag and drop into our playlist. We can see the fields now. So if I go ahead and put my source in preview here in Wirecast, you can see it in your preview window. It hasn't gone live yet. But now if you go ahead and go live, now there it is, live out in your broadcast. So one of the new features is the ability to change graphics, change individual graphics, change text while a title is live. And it's not just a hard cut anymore. It's animated in. And that's part of version 4. So we're going to go over to Titler Live Express and type something new in. So Andrew.
And what you're doing right there is, again, new in Titler Live 4. You're just clicking on the graphic on the title in the preview window in Titler Live.
That's right.
And you're just like prompted to start editing and changing the name. Super easy. Couldn't be more simple than that.
Right. So I'm going to hit enter right here. And Andrew Haley comes up. And if you noticed, something new animated in.
Yeah.
So I'll put my name here. If I can type, Travis White. Enter and watch. Travis White animates right in on top of the graphic.
Now, this is one of the advantages of the new NTX engine, right? Because what's happening is it's not having to re-render the whole graphic from scratch. It's just re-rendering just the part that changed the name, and everything else stays, and it just animates and renders that little piece of it, which is totally never happened before in Titler Live before. Before, it would have to rewrite the whole graphic, right?
Very true. Very true. So let's say we want to do a crawl, for example. So a standard way to do it is go back to your shot bin, and we'll put in a new Titler Live source. And notice over in Titler Live Express, we have this second tab here, and this is where we can put something. So let's go up in the designs, and let's go get a crawl. Let's see, maybe just stick a crawl here. Drag and drop. And now we have this crawl in our designs. And let's say there's this heading. So again, these little blue boxes come right here. So let's say I want to do news. Enter. And we could go live with that in Wirecast. Let's go live with that. So here comes my crawl message. So I have that news going by, and let's say I go back over to Title Live Express. I want to say something different. This is a new message, enter, and there goes that message.
That's cool.
Yeah, another thing, enter.
And if you're
So
in
that's
a
very powerful.
more advanced version like Present, not in Express, but you could hook that up to things like Spreadsheets or whatever you wanted, RSS feeds.
Exactly.
Can you hook it up to an RSS feed
Exactly.
in Express?
Not in Express, no, but
Okay.
in Present you can.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was wondering. Just
Yeah,
like
and
that crawl feature is available, but you have to type in whatever the input source is, whether it's manually. But if you wanted to hook that up to something else, like an automated source or an Excel spreadsheet or a CSV file, something that you wanted to drive that crawl, then that would be like Present or
That's right.
a higher version of Tyler Live.
Yeah, and so there's two ways you can get Present. One is if you're looking to upgrade your Wirecast, go for the Wirecast Pro, and you're going to get Present right off the bat right there. If you happen to already purchase Wirecast and you want to know what your options are, you can upgrade from Express to any of our SKUs, Present and Sport and Social and those other SKUs that are available out there.
Cool. And we can cover more about the other versions as we have time at the end. And then, like I said, I just put this in the chat here, but I wanted to say thanks to everybody. If you do have a question or there's something specific you want Travis to show you about any of Tyler Live, just type it in. We'll try to take those questions. And Vicky says that baby Julie's watching too, so she's learning titling right now, Travis. She's learning.
Nice.
It's going to be the graphics program she grows up on.
That's wonderful. So that's really cool. I like it. So there's another way to bring titles in as well. And so actually, before I move on to that, I want to show something about how this is working. So notice if I go back to the original source, that was that original Express graphic, I can get it in my preview, and I can go live. And then if I go back to the source that's my my crawl, I can click that and go live as well. So one thing to note for people who haven't used Titler Live yet is that we're not using the transitions that Wirecast provides. We're doing transitions that are unique to the designs that you're choosing. So that's something very special there. What we can also do is create a list of different graphics as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make this lower third live. This lower third over in Title Live Express happens to be on that first channel we were working with. And let's say we'll go back to the lower thirds. And we'll just pick some different designs here. I'm going to bring in one and then another. So I've just brought two designs in. We're starting to create a playlist. So this is a way of working with Titler Live, depending on how you want to work. I just showed you how you can switch between sources back and forth in Wirecast, but you can also, for more graphics, you can just have one source in Wirecast and really control from the Titler Live side. I'll show what I mean right here. So we have these three graphics. The first graphic is already in play. You can see what the second graphic looks like. I can just click play and click away the other guy, and I have just that other graphic here. In fact, I can change. It turns into a playlist. I click the third graphic, and it comes in right there. And in this case, I'm just using one source within the Wirecast, which really can clean up your shot bin if you're having other cameras and other things like that.
Yeah, there's two ways. So just to kind of reiterate here, but as you said, there's two ways I think that are ideal to use Titler Live. Now, this is whatever version you happen to be using, but one way, and there's no right or wrong way. You pick what you like to do, how you want to work.
Right.
Both programs are very flexible that way, and the way they integrate super flexible too. So the one way is that you kind of just add one source, just like you see here. You add one shot in Wirecast as for your graphics, and then you just kind of list out your titles and graphics and just manage them right there on the left, as Travis is doing, just by clicking the play buttons and taking them live. That may be a way you want to do it, just to organize things. More often than not, I don't want to say this is, again, there's a right or wrong way to do this. But more often than not, you see this way of working, kind of pushing graphics from within Titler Live. Typically, you'll see that when there's two operators, like when there's a Wirecast person and somebody to do your graphics, or maybe somebody who's curating social comments, or somebody, just on the side that can kind of dedicate themselves to graphics. Now, most Wirecast users probably are solo users, and they probably want Wirecast to be where they're doing most of their work. So the other way to do this is just set up a source, for in Wirecast, a shot in Wirecast for each title that you want to do. And then as you click those shots in Wirecast, just like you're used to doing, Titler Live can be minimized or running in the background, and it will just be sending those graphics over directly. So Travis, maybe you could launch a second playlist or a second source and a second shot in Wirecast and just kind of show how even minimizing Titler Live, the graphics will still generate across.
Oh yeah, so if I go, let's see, let's do this. So if I minimize Titler Live, and I go ahead and go to this other shot, is this what you're talking about?
Yeah,
right here,
yeah.
I can click on the crawl and then maybe clear the layer, and then go to my other lower third and go ahead and go live. Now here's an interesting way of working too. Remember that if I bring up our Titler Live Express again, notice there's 3 graphics in here, right? In this playlist, in this shot. So if I clear, go off live, then I come back to that same shot, then let's see, where did it go right there? That's why. So clear the shot, access the shot, go live. Oh, I remember what I did. Ding, ding. Then I can go clear again. And then when I come back to the source, it's the next
title
graphic in the list, next title in the list. Go ahead, I could go live with that. Then go back and clear a shot. Go back to the source, and then it's the third title on the list. So that's another way of working as well.
So that would be kind of the hybrid method, right?
It's the hybrid method, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, there's another way to do things, showing flexibility here, is we have in version 4 hotkeys.
Oh, I love this cool new feature. This is sweet.
Yes. So if I go ahead and double click in this hotkeys column, and let's say I want to put, A in this.
Well, let's pass the modifier suggestion here. To use your function keys, or use a modifier like Control A or Control B,
Control S, Control D, whatever you want to do, right? And now I'm going to minimize Titler Live, and let's say I'm just working with the Wirecast interface. I can do Control A, and here comes the one graphic. Control S, here comes the other graphic. It's whatever shortcuts you want, right? It's whatever modifier keys you want.
Have you
tested 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you tested this with the hotkey manager in Wirecast, so that if, for example, somebody somehow wants to map the same hotkeys inside of Wirecast and also use, punch one key and to tell both programs what to do at the same time? Is that?
Well, it is true that our hotkeys are global. And we do that because users might want to minimize Titler Live and really be focusing on the Wirecast interface, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's true that if you hit a hotkey that you set up for Wirecast and it happens to also be a hotkey that you set up for Titler Live is going to trigger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it all depends on how you want to work, right?
I think in a separate episode, or maybe just as a standalone, I'll play around a little bit with that, and maybe we could I'll do a kind of a quick tutorial best practices on that. I could really imagine wanting to figure out a good little hotkey solution. I know that a lot of one person, one woman shows, they like to have a little like USB controller on the side, like an X keys controller.
Right.
Or a little Elgato or something like that they can just kind of hit a button on that controller and it kind of does the main things that they want. So I'll play around with that. Maybe we'll break that out into another session because I think hotkeys could be a whole discussion in and of itself and like different ways to set up your shots and your shows.
It could, yeah, definitely.
So in the comments here, Vicky's saying she'd love to see Facebook comments and what's changed there. So I know that with this version, with the new inputs library, you've actually made it easier than ever to get up and running with a Facebook comment in Express and any version.
Yeah, well, so let's just do that. Let's go ahead and just, to stay clean, let's see. Well, actually, our second shot, let's just delete our crawl. We'll just keep things simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go into the library. And in the library here, in the inputs, there's a new inputs library. Now, again, I have a lot of folders in here because I've installed other SKUs too. But you're going to see Facebook comment templates. And the thing about the inputs library is it doesn't only bring the design, it also is connected to the input already. So if I go ahead and drag and drop that in, it shows the input for me right here. And so I want to do Facebook comments. I got to kind of sign up. Is this your URL, I think?
Possibly.
Let's go double check. Let's go find the URL.
I'm right clicking on it now if you want, and it should end in 755. 16877.
All right, there we go.
755.
Here we are.
So you could take Vicky's comment and throw it up there, or Greg's. There's
Vicky.
Greg's right there.
Yeah, we'll just do we'll do Greg here. So we'll go ahead and click, and that message is being prepared. And let's see, we want to go live with that in Wirecast, of course. I want to make that shot live, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make that source live in Wirecast, and there we are.
Boom. So you just went to the inputs library, you grabbed the Facebook comment, you dragged it into a playlist, and you were kind of, after logging in, that was it.
There you go. Now, Greg right here, he's talking about spreadsheets, which we're going to get there, Greg. We're going to go into what Present has to offer as well. I do want to say, I love hotkeys. All right, Joanne, thank you. So here's a new message from Joanne. I love hotkeys. And you got the new image, her name, her message. And again, these are a couple templates that come with Express. But if you get Present or other SKUs, you're actually able to make your own designs if you want to get into that.
All right, hold on. I got a question for you. This just came to me. So hotkeys so let's say you would map to the C key for comment to this title, this Facebook comment title, and you just wanted, as a solo operator, maybe you mapped that to a Elgato controller, or you did a little USB, X keys, whatever, and you want to just tap that C key or that hotkey for comment to animate on the title and the graphic. If you preloaded a bunch of comments, into a comment playlist, so you could quickly just add them to your list. Is there a way that by tapping the C key every time, it'll rotate through to the next playlist comment?
At present, there's not. That's a great thing. The comment list is part of the WirecastLive social or complete feature. But that's actually a great comment. So if you have WirecastLive social or WirecastLive complete, there is this playlist that Andrew's talking about, and that's some good feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll stick it in the queue.
Yeah, I will I'll pass that along. In the meantime, that playlist feature is awesome, and we'll show that, I think, maybe when we're talking about Present or social or complete.
That's
and
social,
then we could also talk a little bit about how you can certainly rotate a curated selection.
You can do that as well.
Yeah.
So maybe now's the right time, I think, to jump to Present.
Okay.
And what you can do with Present. I happen to have higher SKUs installed, so we'll just start new features that are all part of Present. But just to reiterate with everybody, what's new in Present is Excel sheet spreadsheets. And before we had CSVs, and we'll show what that means and the power of that. So here we go. So let's say we'll go to the library, and just, again, let's go into the lower thirds, the designs, lower thirds, and find some kind of design we want to work with. let's say we'll drag and drop here into our playlist and turn off my phone.
Doorbell.
So it doesn't make sounds. Doorbell. And here we have a design that has these two elements. Now, something that is really useful when you're working with different inputs is this new show inputs list. So I'll open it up right now. There's nothing there, right? Because we don't have an input yet. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go to the column in the playlist where your inputs are. You can also do it up in your inputs menu at the top, but it's really convenient down here in the playlist. I'm going to do General, Spreadsheet, and I can do a new spreadsheet, or I can pick a we'll just do a new spreadsheet here, and I can select a file or create a file. I'm going to create a file to show what this does. I'm going to click Create File, and we'll just call it Input 1 there, CSV, and save.
Doesn't matter what you call it, right?
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what we call it. So let's go look at that, right? What did we just make? So I'll bring that up here on the screen. And look what I just made. I made a spreadsheet that has a first row in it that has this word subtitle and this word name. Why is that? Well, that's because if we go back to our design and we look at some of these elements up here. In fact, if I go to View, by the way, Express has this, Present has this, all the products have the ability to open up different panels. I'm going to open up the attributes just to show name and subtitle were variables that are a part of this design. And they had some default text in there, name, last name, write your lower third subtitle here. Those things were already in, and that's what created this spreadsheet. So we even have the opportunity now, since we're connected to that spreadsheet, I'll get rid of this attributes panel, to reconnect things. So let's say I want to take the subtitle and put it on where the name should go, and take the name and put it on where the subtitle should go. So I've just swapped and ordered different connections. So let's say we'll put some new stuff in here. So we'll say subtitle, Wirecast product guy is Andrew, and then Titler live product guy is Travis. When I hit save right here, you can see in this panel, this spreadsheet panel, I just got those new entries.
Mm.
So now what I can do, let me get rid of this spreadsheet here, or just, minimize it. Let's go live with this graphic, right? We've been waiting far too long. Let's go live with this graphic, and let's click the next line in the spreadsheet. Wirecast product guy, Andrew. Or Title Live product guy. And that was connections in this hide input. So it's really great to be able to use any design you want and connect things as you'd like to connect them.
Right.
For example,
right.
Yeah.
So can you actually swap them back real fast? So we can put the...
Oh, yeah. Sure. So I'll take it offline to make those changes.
Okay. Do you recommend not swapping inputs while a title's live?
We do block that.
Okay.
Just because, and why would somebody want it?
Right. Right.
Bad things happen when you go live. All right. So what I just did is I dragged them to nothing. I could have also right-clicked and chose remove. Okay. So now here's the spreadsheet input. Facebook will do this same thing. It'll show all the inputs. So spreadsheet, as we recall, if we can get that spreadsheet back, it had two variables, subtitle and name, right?
Right.
So here they are, subtitle and name. So now let's say connect subtitle to the variable that someone named subtitle when they made this design.
Right.
And name you can connect to what someone called name when they made this design. I mean, these could have been variable 1, variable 2. It could have been heading, subheading. It didn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But now that these are white, you can see they're connected. In fact, if I just go down here, you can see those connections kind of highlighted.
Right. Yeah, the fact that they're named the same helps you kind of keep it clear between the spreadsheet source and the title design source, like variables, but they don't have to be named the same. It is important to think about this though, because there's multiple ways to figure this out. Like, because spreadsheets, you may use them for a number of different types of titles or graphics. You could think of them as like player stats. You could think of them as what Travis is doing, which is just literally a name and a subtitle, which could be a job title. It could be a location. It could be a their like credentials, like what university they went to. It doesn't really sort of matter, or what department are they graduating from at a university. Like, the point being that if you are looking at a graphic design that you like, and you're like, I think this may work for the types of graphics that I need, then you can either back into the spreadsheet design by creating a spreadsheet file just by hitting that create button that you showed us to create a spreadsheet file, or you could have someone author a spreadsheet file, just remembering that you probably want to keep in mind the number of variables that graphic design already has, and then you just name them. And I think your general rule of thumb, you mentioned this yesterday, was you should name the top row in each column should be the different inputs.
That's the secret sauce. This is the variable label right here in the top row. Mm-hmm. And then any subsequent row below, row 2, row 3, row 4, that's the individual, the alternate sets of data that you want to throw up. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, one of the examples we were talking about is a high school graduation, right?
Right.
You have 500 plus students. They each have a different
first name, last name,
first and last name, summa cum laude, whatever you want to put up there, hometown.
Yeah, right.
As many columns of information as you care to use. And then you have, this is the great thing, you have 500 students, but you don't have 500 sources in your Wirecast. You have one graphic that you bring up, and then you walk through the spreadsheet.
Yeah. And it will, you walk through the spreadsheet right there in Tyler Live, which is awesome. And you will not see new rows appearing in there until you save the file, right?
Right. If you do any modifications to the spreadsheet, you have to go back to the spreadsheet and hit save. So let's do that. So let's say, subtitle, I graduated, TW. All right. So I graduated TW, and I'm going to hit save. Once I hit save, you'll see it add over here into the Tyler Live interface. Mm-hmm. There we are. And now I can choose it, and
goes live.
TW, I graduated. That's yes.
Cool. Yeah. So
this is something really nice. So we're on this line, TW, I graduated, right? And someone can say on the spreadsheet, you know what? That should have been Travis White. And when I hit save on the spreadsheet, watch what happens live. It animates the change. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool. And so you overwrote what the spreadsheet had, but you did that in Tyler Live.
Oh, what I'm saying is if you're currently live on any one of these lines, mm-hmm. let's say, Andrew, Wirecast product guy, right? And if I go back to the original spreadsheet and I modify what's currently live, Andrew, Haley, enter, and I save that spreadsheet live, it's going to change.
Got it. That's cool.
With the animation. Yeah.
But then alternatively, you can also overwrite directly in Tyler Live. Is that true?
If you can go back up, what you can do temporarily, if you want to dig up here, mm-hmm. And say, you know what, actually, I want to change Wirecast product guy.
There was a misspell. I don't have access to the original file or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't have.
I just typed the other guy.
Yeah.
And I went live with the other guy.
Got it. Okay,
you can tell me I'm really creative with my phrases here in the
demo lingo, right?
This, that, the other.
Okay, so couple things. First of all, we're getting some real likes for this in the comments, so thanks, guys. It looks like they're pretty excited about these. Ken Heron is saying, asked her like, what could we, if you have any other questions, and he pointed out that he would like to know how to grow a fabulous beard for just like you
Oh,
did, which,
well,
as we
there you
noticed,
go.
very different. You've bearded up since the last photo we have of you.
Yeah, who noticed the headshot at the beginning of the show?
Right. Joanne Pham says it's great to have everything pre-formatted and then it changes on the fly as you update them, the info for the spreadsheet. So yeah, Joanne, I could really see this being super useful for show planning, for you if you want to do agenda items, you want to have someone talk about like news or topics that you want to display in graphics, and just enter all that into the spreadsheets. And then if something changes or you need to write something or add a quick category that you didn't have, there's a lot of flexibility here, not only importing the spreadsheet file and feeding those into the titles, but then if you need to make changes, I think that's super cool. Now, we could maybe show that in a second. I want to jump back here. Vicky had a question. She said, is there a way to remove the little Facebook icon from the Facebook comments? And because she wants a little more of a cleaner look, and she wants to know what option this is. So this is an important question because you guys provide these template libraries, these little graphics, and the Facebook one is really well known because it's just kind of the only Facebook pre-canned comment that you guys ship with.
Sure.
But if somebody wanted to take that pre-canned comment and kind of just design it around a little bit, not a ton, they don't want to start from scratch and figure everything out, but they just want to edit it a little bit, they will need access to the title designer.
Yes, and people with Present or other SKUs above have access to Title Designer.
Right. Okay.
So if you bought Wirecast Pro and you have Present, then there's this Edit Title button right here. You could also double click on the let's go to Edit Title Design, and it opens up Title Designer. Mm-hmm. You could find that little F, hit delete. Let's say you don't want the likes either. Delete. You've just modified this template. Close the designer, keep your changes, and now you have a new design.
Now it's gone. How will they find that design again, or make sure they've titled it something? Like where would she find that if she was to need it from project to project or Wirecast to Wirecast?
Okay, if she wanted to do project to project, because we've just modified the instance of this design, right? Uh-huh. So she'll need to save it in a couple different ways. If you can go to the library, actually.
Not that took a lot of time. Honestly, you just like delete, and you were done. But if that,
but you always want to save your work, right?
Or if you want to change the background color,
work, right?
Yeah, totally.
Right. So over here in the design library, in the bottom, there's these couple little icons. There's this folder icon, and there's this save icon. So folder icon, maybe I'll make a new folder for myself, and this is my show. Enter. So now I've made a folder called My Show. Let me go see if I can find that.
And Travis is no stranger to making folders.
I am no stranger to making folders. My Show. I dug in there. There's nothing there yet, but I'm selected on this given design I just made, right? Mm-hmm. So now I can hit that little save icon, call it whatever I want, my Facebook.
Cleaner
you notice
look.
Where it's going in the machine, right? So it's under Documents, Templates, on it, and Save. And there we go. Now I have my template saved that I could use over and over again in a lot of different shows.
Okay. So that this is something that maybe kind of threw me off at first, but I just want to clarify this with you now. But saving that design inside that folder you created in WirecastLive, My Show or whatever, is not the same thing as saving that template design in a folder called My Show in the Windows or Mac. So in other words, you created a folder in there, but that's really just a sort of a surface level organization thing inside of WirecastLive, but it didn't actually create a brand new folder on the hard drive, did it?
It actually did in your documents area.
Oh, okay, in the documents area. Okay, and so the hierarchy inside here should pretty much mirror what they find on their OS inside their directory.
Right. If we go to save this again, you can see there's an actual hierarchy right here. I'm running Windows right now.
Okay, My Show.
So this PC, Documents, NewBlue Titler Pro, Library, Projects, My Show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. All right, good to know.
Yeah,
And then I guess what threw me off where there was, I think when you created the folder, it didn't open the OS like structure to create a new folder. You just created a new folder right inside the Tyler Live interface.
that's
But
right.
then when you tried
That's
to
right.
save the template, it did open the OS.
Yeah,
So now that's
it
what
was a
it's
file save
confusing too.
process.
Okay. So real quick here, you could get access to this quick editing of these templates in a higher SKU that comes like
Hmm.
present that comes free with Pro, but it also, if you had Wirecast Studio, you could just
Yeah,
upgrade your Tyler Live Express to present social, sport, whatever you want, and have access to that title designer. Um,
that's true.
is there a quick way to, using this cool input thing you showed us, this drag and drop input,
Yeah,
to bring Facebook comments onto another design?
design.
If you
Why,
didn't want to use
yes,
this
there is.
pre-canned Facebook one?
Well, there's one thing you could do. So again, this would be, I could go to the designs library and I'll just get rid of, I'll keep it there. So let's say we'll go into the designs and let's say Highline. This is a collection that comes with the present product. If I can find Highline. And let's say we want to drag and drop the design on top of my Facebook. I can do that. So I just changed the design, but I kept the input.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to work.
So you just drag the comment right on top of the design. That's cool.
Or in this case, I dragged the design on top of the
Okay, onto the
the title
Facebook one.
instance, right?
Got it.
Yeah. And look, it found one variable that it knows it matches.
That's awesome.
Name.
Joanne
Because
Graham.
this was kind of like yeah. But let's say I wanna connect name down here, and I want to connect message up here. There you go. So let's go live.
Love the hotkeys. Boom.
Love the hotkeys. And let's go find something else. Let's go live with another message. This is a longer message.
Could you do this in Express as well? I mean, obviously not with this particular design, but you could basically drag other templates, other lower thirds or whatever, or any of the.
You could go grab a lower third and you could connect Facebook comments to it. That's right.
You could also drop it on top of the design for the other one. Like if you added the Facebook input design, then just drag one of the other designs on top of that, just like you just did there, right?
That's right.
That's cool.
Now, one little logic is once you have a title in your playlist here, if you drag from the design library, you're replacing a design. Mm-hmm. If you drag from the input library, you're replacing the input function.
Interesting. And so, likely also the design? Because they come part and parcel from the input library?
They come part and parcel when there's nothing. Like if you're dragging something brand new, sure, right? Okay. But if, delete, let's say my orange-gray design here that's currently connected to a spreadsheet, I go to the library inputs library and I drag Facebook comments. Now I have a question.
It won't change the design. Interesting.
Do you want to replace, the spreadsheet control with the Facebook comments control, or do you want to combine them? You can get really crazy that way. Let's combine. All right, so look in the hide inputs or show hide inputs list here. You can see we have two inputs that we can pick data from to put into this particular design.
Facebook and the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's wild. So, and it did not really overwrite the design, by the way. You still have the orange. And so you dragged the Facebook input.
From the inputs library.
It did not change your design because it recognized that you were coming from the input library. Very interesting.
The idea there is like, hey, your objective is to get inputs.
Yeah.
If you already have a design, we're not going to automatically, replace it for you.
Right.
You have an intention.
Yeah. Yeah. The other way to change the inputs would be to grab that drop down in the playlist from the input column.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so change your input that way.
That's right.
Okay. So 2 ways to kind of quickly change your inputs per design.
Exactly.
Very
So,
nice.
one thing that's kind of fun. I don't know. People are putting comments out there. I'd like to know who out there has Wirecast Pro and who has Wirecast Studio, and we'll do a little bit of a poll with that.
Good idea.
Yeah. So, and so far, someone has said. I'll say this. So far, someone has said the word Pro. What Wirecast do you have? So this would be kind of fun to see.
How often is it going to poll for the results? Do you have a kind of a frequency on that from the API?
Let's see. Start polling. We have the comments right now. I have it probably set at 30 seconds. So let me see. Get every 5. Oops, that was a hotkey.
Hey. That was a great animation.
Don't put your hotkeys where you don't want them. Yeah. So
that's a great animation, by the way. I love that Facebook. What title was that? Was that the one from the Kinetic or that full screen?
That's one I made myself, actually.
Oh, it looks great. I love the skew and the 3D space of it.
I'll throw it at you. Maybe we can give that away.
It's funny how much. Oh yeah, you should do that. We should put that in the show notes or something. It's funny how much I'm looking at Facebook and I'm looking at YouTube comments, and there's a huge discrepancy, at least in my stream, between the two. Facebook's actually much faster, and the YouTube one is lagging like 20 seconds behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
All right. So it looks like we have a couple comments have come in now. We've got Greg says pro, Deb says pro, Wirecast says pro, Einer says pro.
Hey.
So I think pro is winning here.
Pro is winning. Somebody say studio just for fun.
All right. Let's try that again. You'll probably be able to vote twice here, because if somebody was to write pro and studio, I would assume it would pick up both.
Hey, here we go. So let me bring that graphic live again.
Nice. 87.5%. There we go.
Yeah, 12.5% say studio. So this is a feature of Titler Live Social. And then Titler Live Complete, actually, being complete, it has the features of social, it has the features of present, it has the features of sport, which we didn't talk about today. Yeah, so this is the full-fledged social media tool. In fact, how am I doing all this? I'm actually driving another.
Okay, I'm skewing the results here. I just typed in studio like 5 times. So I'm filling the ballot box here, and I just wanted to see those change live here.
There you go.
Cool.
So
that's awesome.
One thing to show you here, how am I doing all this on the screen? Well, I'm actually running another copy of Titler Live here. And this Titler Live is being sent out via NDI. And so I'll show you how to put in an NDI Titler Live, because we haven't talked about that yet.
Right. This is really cool, especially if you want to run 2 systems, which is actually recommended for, just kind of if you want to offload some resources, to a different system.
Right. So this copy of Titler Live right now, as you know, we connected it as a plugin, and that's how I've been working with it. I'm going to minimize this one, and I'm going to walk this other independent copy of Titler Live onto the screen. And it is, if you look under outputs, it's sending NDI. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put another input into our Wirecast project here, and I go to the network. And I think this one is, which one is me? Let's go double check. 01. There we go. I'm gonna go live. There we go. So there I have the poll going on.
Nice. And that's coming in entirely differently through a different way into Wirecast. It's coming through the network through NDI.
And that's right. And now you're going to see real crazy stuff, because I have this here in this window and the graphics on the full screen here. but maybe you want to do a main title with a hotkey.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Maybe you want to do a motion bug with a hotkey. Maybe you want to talk about remember what my name is, right? Or that we're talking about title I've present at some point in this presentation. Or one of the posts, hey from Greg, right?
Yep.
So this is just using hotkeys to really get this all done. So
this is cool, very cool. So a couple things that I think are worth pointing out here. First, I think it's amazing that you guys included NDI output in all versions of Titler Live. So whether you're on Express, Present, Sport, Social, Broadcast, you can output graphics on your network, and you can catch them and display them in Wirecast, whether you're in whatever version, Studio or Pro. So you have total access to this kind of network-based graphics production, which is really neat. So that's cool, because in Wirecast, for example, we do not allow output for NDI in the Studio version. We only allow it in the Pro version. But for you guys, because I think graphics need to get out there no matter what version they're on, it's really good that you did that in the Pro in all versions. And then the other thing that I think is really neat to point out is that if you guys wanted to use that in conjunction, if you started to get kind of creative about this, you could start to off-site some of your graphics production using this method. Because if you have Titler Live Express, Present, or Social, any of those running anywhere on the network on another machine, then you could, in theory, control that graphic or those NDI graphics, and you can do that remotely through web-based servers. Because Titler Live, I love the way Todor explained this yesterday. Just think of it like a server. Titler Live is a server software, so it's just waiting for commands. So however you want to send it commands, whether you're in the same building on a different machine, sending those, or whether you're in a totally different part of the world, just sending HTTP commands, you can kind of drive those graphics. And now imagine being a solo operator and then having a friend who's at home, who's just in charge of your comments and maybe your lower thirds, and they're just watching, and they just pop on a comment or a question, and they're just kind of remotely sending commands to this little Titler Live program that's running somewhere on the system. Are there kind of simple ways you have you guys hooked up many web controllers yet? Are you designing some web controllers for people? I know obviously the scoreboard's web, the social tool's a web-based controller. Those are all easily. That's right.
We do have an API. It's called NTX API, NewBlue Titling Experience. And that allows people, if they have HTML and JavaScript skills, actually to do up some very interesting controllers. BuzzFeed's one of our customers, and so they're doing a lot of election stuff with some of our controllers. We're talking to some others. We have a NASA conversation going on right now, actually.
Cool.
So one project is going through the whole Mars, landing and all that kind of stuff. So that's cool. Information we didn't anticipate. So they can make their own controller to push their own information that they want. So the Titler Live technology, this engine, and the NTX technology goes far beyond, and it really covers a lot of needs.
Is it easy to get the NTX API? Do you guys make that really widely available, or do they have to email you for permission to it? How do you guys distribute that?
We ask it at present. It's not posted on our website.
Okay.
Because a lot of times we want to catch that opportunity to give them advice of best practices and how they're going to approach it. And honestly, it's a new offering to have the API available. Mm-hmm. So we also want to be engaged in those conversations. How are you using it? What do you want to accomplish with it? And be able to improve our samples and improve the API itself. So that's kind of the stage that we're in.
Well, I think it'd be really neat. Maybe we could put a call out there. I mean, you kind of have to kind of use your own discretion here, but it'd be neat if there are some web developers, people with some Java skills or JavaScript skills and web development skills that could create a simple web controller and make it on, put it on GitHub or make it available for just kind of open source to people that want a friend to be driving graphics for their shows from Tyler Live. So if they spin up Tyler Live and maybe we could make this happen. We could open source this out to the community a little bit and get some other types of cool little web controls for the Tyler Live software. So if you're open to that, I think we should definitely encourage any of our more technical Wirecast users to kind of make this an easy lift for some people.
Well, let's do it. I mean, our job is making graphics animate and update, but we can't wrap our heads around all the different scenarios, use scenarios that people want to do with data in graphics.
Right.
So that's why we made the API, and so that's a great call out, Andrew. That's really great.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll keep you posted. Where should people reach out to you if they have questions or they want to get access to that API, or just have questions?
That'd be Travis W. at NewBlueInc.com.
Okay, and I think we also have your contact info there. People can have questions. They can email sales@NewBlue, reach out through the Twitter, and then I would really, if you're going to email Travis directly, make sure it's really like API related or something specific. For the rest of he's a busy guy, so I don't want to spam him with every question people have. That's what the support team there is for and the sales team's for. But also you can reach out on Twitter. You can do any of the other stuff that were showed, and we'll show that again for you guys. All right, so I think we should wrap up. I think we're coming to the hour. It's been an hour, so it flew by, Travis. Anything
by the way,
else you want to share?
A lot of great comments. I've just been watching the comments come in, and they've been really, really fun. I'll just have to say that.
Yeah, we have a good audience here.
Hey.
Lots of good audience. And let's see, why is Tyler Live not working with my Wirecast Studio 10? Marissa on YouTube asks. Marissa, don't know. There could be a million reasons, and it could just come down to just a simple user error. You never know. So let's try to get your question answered. Go ahead.
Support@NewBlueInc.com, and our team will get you covered.
Support@NewBlueInc.com. And I think that's it for today, guys. And Travis, anything else you'd like to share before we sign off here for this episode? We'll definitely have you back and talk more, maybe especially if we have some cool web stuff to show.
There you go. We'll just keep watching out for how it's growing. NewBlueEffects.com is where you can find more information, or on the Telestream Wirecast website. They have some great information on Tyler Live itself.
And do you guys have a forum for like feature requests or for feedback, or do you post betas publicly, anything like that you want people to get?
If you go to NewBlueFX.com and in the top navigation, you hit support, then there's some forum links right there, and you can jump on those.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much, Travis. You've been really generous with your time and your expertise. This was a great demo. I hope this was helpful for you guys. We covered Facebook comments, spreadsheets. We covered what's new in Tyler Live 4. And again, go get it. It's out there right now, and it's shipping with Wirecast. And I think there's so much more to do with the software. I mean, we barely scratched the surface, Travis. There's we didn't cover complete. We didn't cover sport. We didn't cover social. We didn't cover broadcast, which is your most top of the line version. You're building a real serious graphics beast. I think it's kind of disruptive. You're taking on the old school graphics creation programs and showing how much easier and how much more flexible people can do this. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's it for today. We'll see you later, Travis. Folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. This has been another episode of Wirecast Live, our 99th. In fact, we will be back next week with the 100th episode. Got some surprises for you, as well as thank you to our partners. You can see listed on the screen. If you want to get notified of upcoming episodes, topics, show titles, if you have ideas that you'd like us to see, you have guests that you want us to interview, send us an email, drop us a tweet. You can reach out to us at Telestream Wirecast on Facebook, or you can tweet at us at Wirecast. You can also sign up for email notifications at Telestream at Wirecast Live. And I honestly get replies to the emails we send out to that list. So you can usually, if you want to try replying to any of the emails that go out from this list, good chance I'll see it, because I will usually get people's I get people's auto responders. I always find out when somebody can't make a broadcast because their autoresponders will reply right back to that email and let me know, like, out of town, can't come. Love to make it. So it's still fun. So definitely send us some ideas if you have guests or topic ideas you'd like us to cover. And thank you. We'll see you guys next week. And thanks for all the comments and the engaged and active comments. Joanne, Lutz, so good to see you. Greg, thank you as always. And we have Deb and Vicky and a lot of our regulars on YouTube. Wilton, Kim, Curtis, Ken. Thank you so much, you guys. We will see you next week.